The following program is a paid presentation for American Medicine Today and the Bonati Spine Institute. The information and opinions expressed are solely those of American Medicine Today and are not the opinions of the station, its affiliates, management, or employees.
Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, the world leader in advanced spine surgery, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Bramell, and welcome to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. Every week, we try to inform you about the Bonati Spine Institute and other medical news, as well as share some of our patients' miraculous recovery stories and what we feel is the crisis in American medicine today, better known as Obamacare. Today, we'll speak with Dr. Jamie Koufman about the chronic cough enigma, where over 20 million people suffer with, yet many are misdiagnosed with asthma. We'll also hear from John Hunter about his amazing recovery in our Back to Life segment, along with some of our staff anesthesiologists concerning conscious IV sedation and what role that plays in obtaining the remarkable results of our patients. And finally, we'll hear from Dr. Benady about the inadequacies of Obamacare and the consequences concerning your medical care under the so-called Affordable Health Care Act. Today, we're being joined by Dr. Jamie Koufman on Skype. Dr. Koufman is a voice and throat doctor, and you're here to discuss some problems with reflux. How many people out there would you say suffer from acid reflux?
We sent interviewers into Times Square in the tickets line where people can buy discount tickets. And we interviewed them, not just little check boxes. We asked them all kinds of questions. We interviewed 1,000. What we found was that 40% of the American population has reflux. There's no difference between men and women. It's high. There's no difference between 20 to 30s or 60s to 70s. It's pretty close to 40% across the board. Half those people have traditional heartburn, indigestion. Everybody knows what that is. It's reflux. And the other half have a reflux or silent reflux that produces a whole different constellation of symptoms. But 40% is a big number, and the fact that it affects young people just as much is really what was a surprise.
Do allergies play a factor in acid reflux or some of these other throat problems that you're seeing?
Let me put this in perspective. I want to talk first about asthma. So we're going to talk about asthma and sinusitis and allergies.
Okay.
Allergies that aren't allergies, sinusitis that isn't sinusitis, and asthma that isn't asthma. I've been looking after, probably in my career, a couple of 100,000 patients with reflux disease. Many of them come to me with asthma. In looking at our data over time, 4 out of 5 people with asthma don't have asthma. Say that again, 4 out of 5 people have a misdiagnosis. Now, how do we know that? Because we say to them, and so this, if I have one thing to say to you, if I have one big idea, it's this. I want to teach America in or out.
Okay.
Having trouble getting air out, prolonged expiration, that's asthma. If you have trouble getting air in, it's not asthma. And here's what happens. In the throat, there are a set of receptors or switches. And guess what triggers them? Acid. When acid triggers those receptors, the throat closes down, and this is what causes trouble breathing in. So for everyone in the viewing audience, if you have asthma or you know someone who has asthma, ask this question. During an attack, do you have more trouble getting the air in? And if the answer is in, it's probably reflux, and asthma is a misdiagnosis. Now, the same goes for sinusitis. Patients come to me and they've had sinus surgery, and they still have the same symptoms, post-nasal drip, fullness, congestion, all of these kind of up and down symptoms, and it's reflux all the way up into the nose at night while they sleep. And the same is true of allergies. So much of post-nasal drip is attributed to allergies, but indeed it's reflux as well.
When you talk about enigmatic chronic cough, what is that?
Well, enigmatic is a fancy word for puzzling. I won't say how many, probably in excess of 20 million people, maybe as many as 50 million people. One of the most common reasons why someone goes to the doctor is when a cough, and chronic cough is defined as 8 weeks or more coughing.
Ooh.
You have a chronic cough, and the lung doctor clears you. Gee, I don't see anything.
Yes.
Okay, and then you go, who do you go see? The ENT doctor, the allergist, the gastroenterologist, who do you see? And so the problem is that there is this large group of people who have predominantly reflux-related or silent reflux cough that are not getting diagnosed and treated. And there's a big number. There's a group of people who just don't fit in at all. Let me just make a comment about reflux cough and then neurogenic cough.
Sure.
Reflux coughers cough after meals. They cough when they lie down. They can cough in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. They cough when they bend over. They cough basically often related to other symptoms related to reflux.
Got it.
Neurogenic coughers cough all day long. There's no pattern. Mm-hmm. They cough when they talk, when they giggle, when they laugh, when they sing.
Okay.
They cough with change of temperature or going in and out of air conditioning, fumes, cough. Mm-hmm. And so the triggers for the cough don't fully make sense. Neurogenic is a fancy word for caused by a funky nerve. And neurogenic cough is common enough that these patients go from doctor to doctor. In my practice, I see people who have been everywhere. They've been to Harvard and Hopkins and Mayo and UCLA and so on. And they come from all over. And why do they do that? Because they don't have a diagnosis. And so in this book, The Chronic Cough Enigma, there's a chronic cough form. And if you fill that out at the bottom, it'll tell you whether you're likely to have reflux or likely to have neurogenic cough. Now, I want to go back and explain neurogenic again.
Sure.
It turns out that human beings, thoroughbred racehorses, are prone to getting throat viruses that affect the vagus nerve. Okay. The vagus nerve runs right under the lining membrane, and some viruses will actually make the nerve sick. And that's the cause of the neurogenic cough. And the neurogenic means, what does that mean, neurogenic? Well, if I touch your arm and you go, ow, right? I touch your brain is feeling an ow, but it's not really an ow. And when it comes to the neurogenic coughers, it's because they've got this tickle and this uncontrollable threshold that is really just basically off. It's treatable as well, of course.
Dr. Koufman, were there any other things that you'd like to touch upon before the end of our interview?
I'd like to reiterate the in or out, that the misdiagnosis of asthma is massive. And so if you have problems breathing, ask yourself if you have more trouble breathing here, in or out. And if the answer is in, it's not asthma, it's probably reflux. Okay. The second thing is that people have to educate themselves and be their own advocates, particularly if they're not getting the outcome they want with asthma, sinus, allergy, any of these. And they need to know and recognize silent reflux for what it is, because it's a big, huge problem for 1 out of 5 Americans. That's a lot of people. Half of the refluxers have silent reflux. And finally, you need to have your esophagus checked if you've had symptoms for a long time. And I guess you'd say, finally, reflux is about what you eat and when you eat it. So this whole idea of you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want it, if you're not doing well with a ton of symptoms, it's time to face up to it and make changes.
Got it. Well, thank you, Dr. Jamie Koufman, author of The Chronic Cough Enigma. If people are interested in the book, where can they find it, or is there a website that somebody can go to?
Both Chronic Cough Enigma and Dropping Acid, the Reflux Diet Cookbook and Cure in all Barnes & Noble stores, and online, of course, on Amazon and such, you can buy it. Anyone who wants to find me, it's Voice Institute of New York, or even if you just Google Dropping Acid, you're pretty much going to find us as well.
Got it. Well, it was a pleasure having you on American Medicine Today TV program, and hopefully in a couple weeks we'll have you on our radio program as well.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back to speak with John Hunter and hear about his remarkable recovery in our Back to Life segment.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benady created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Benady invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Benady succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute.
At At the Bonati Spine Institute, all of the procedures are performed here at our 11-acre facility, from your initial consultation and exam to x-rays and MRIs in our on-site imaging center. All surgeries are performed in one of our 3 surgical operating rooms, and recovery is just steps away. This allows the surgeon more access to their patients and allows you to go home the same day. Here's just one of our ordinary patient experiences.
I'm John Hunter. I'm 53 years old. About 7 years ago, I was in a car accident and injured my back. Had a fracture in my vertebrae. At that point, I thought my life was over. I really did. The pain was so bad. Couldn't walk, couldn't sit, couldn't sleep, couldn't lay down, couldn't do anything. They did open back procedure. I had 27 staples in my back. That seemed to actually help the vast majority of the pain for, I would say, about 7 days. After 7 days, I was back in the same condition that I was in. I called every doctor in town. I searched the web looking for anything that would actually help. I actually found a doctor in Canada that could actually do a experimental procedure called IDET. I went and had that done. It seemed to help. I was only maybe about 70% of where I was at before. So the only thing it really succeeded in doing was getting rid of the vast majority of the pain. I still wasn't as active as I was beforehand. That was about 7-8 years ago. About 6 years ago, I was in another car accident. I was hit in the driver's doors by a gentleman who was texting and ran a red light. That nearly killed me. I redamaged the L4, L5, and L5S1 discs. That was extremely devastating. At that point, I couldn't walk. I couldn't work for about 4 or 5 months. It was really a tough time. I searched again for every doctor in town to try and find, somebody that actually could help me. The only thing that they really wanted to do was do a fusion. At the time, I thought I was a little too young to have a fusion, and I didn't know what would be the outcome. I thought there had to be something else that could actually help me. And it was just through happenstance that a friend actually told me about her spouse had surgery at Benady. So there was no risk, no anything. I figured, what the heck, I'd give them a shot. I called them, they reviewed my MRI, said, yeah, they could help me. So I hopped a plane from Houston and came down to Tampa and showed up at the door, literally crawling almost into the door. I had 2 procedures done here. I had a laminectomy on L4, L5, and it eliminated, I would probably say, 75 to 80% of the pain that I was having. The second procedure that Bonati did was a facet joint microablation. At that point, everything was, it's like I got my life back. All the pain, absolutely 100% of it was gone. Before, I couldn't even climb stairs. I couldn't walk. After that, I felt like I could do cartwheels. It was phenomenal. I don't think these people realize what kind of effect they have on people's lives following these procedures. It's literally, I got my life back. I can play baseball again and have been for the past few years.
We get the results. We get the results. And we actually take patients that have gone to those places and we see the surgeries that are not near the equivalent of what we do here. What we do initially as anesthesiologists, we give them a little bit of deeper medication as we're putting them kind of off when they're putting tubes in. Then lighten them up gradually so when they come to and Dr. Bonati's ready to test them, they can feel that nerve, they can feel the areas in the hands or the feet or the buttocks or the back or whatever the pain is. In the pattern that they're having, that's their pain pattern. And It's like, they'll tell you, that's my pain, that's it. And then get them to move around and say, it's gone, it's gone. We've had patients who are suicidal because they've been to so many different physicians. They're not getting better, they're getting worse. It feels so incredible that you are a part of something that's changing right before your eyes. Every second, every minute, every little movement of what he is doing impacts that patient, that nerve, that life.
The only problem that I had with them is they don't have their name out well enough where people can find them. I happen to get it through word of mouth, and it saved my life.
We're not going anywhere because we believe in what we do. There's no other place that will give you those immediate results, first of all. Secondly, you're talking about patients' lives. There's nothing else that will make you feel like you're making a difference. No other place will do that.
All my pain is gone, gone, gone.
Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing, no after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now. Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible.
It gave me my life back.
When we return, we'll be joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon and inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Dr. Alfred Benady, to discuss the inadequacies of Obamacare and what that means to you.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benady created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Benady invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Benady succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back to our final segment of American Medicine Today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Welcome back to our final segment on American Medicine Today. The so-called Affordable Health Care Act, or Obamacare, has already shown its inadequacies. We spoke with Dr. Benady to try to help you understand from a medical standpoint, these shortcomings are exactly what he has worried about and predicted since its inception.
It's inadequate because it's not a program for this country. This is not a socialistic country. This is not a communistic country. This is an entrepreneurial country with people with ideas and concepts. This is the only country who has these values. The rest of the countries, they live under some type of a socialistic banner. And that socialistic banner is the one that makes these people perform poorly, be practically in the verge of necessity. They never can create business, they never can perform well, and the rich remains rich forever because there's not possibilities to have a path to get new millionaires. The same remain because they cannot lose their money, and they have people who practically living in a verge of poverty. Now, that is why it's not for this country. It's not the program for this country. At the same time, it's a lie. They lied to you when they said that you are going to have better health care, and it's not true. They lied to you when they said they are going to cost you less money, and you know that is absolutely not true. They lied to you when they say you're going to keep your own doctor, and you know that is not true. I see in my own practice a lot of people that they had insurance before, they are telling me, I cannot afford and I can't come to see you. What I do now? I'm doing surgery for free in some of my old patients because they don't have insurance. And they lost their insurance thanks to Obama. Now, it's not only a bad program, it's extremely expensive. They talk about it's going to cost around 570 billion, then suddenly the thing went to trillions. And we didn't stop yet. The program is not even functioning, and the debt is enormous, and the damage to the country is enormous. We lost millions of people that they lost insurance that they were delivered before by business. Now those business, they closed this opportunity to their employees. Is a disaster all over. So this is not a program for this country. This is a program for a socialistic or a communistic country. The people is becoming numb to the bad news that Obamacare throws every week. And like everything that happens with the politicians, they expect to numb the people so the noise goes by and they continue with their own misbehavior. Obamacare is not only a disaster for the doctors and the patients, it's a disaster for the nation. There are going to be probably 2.5 million people that they are going to be without the job. But because of the way that this law is made, the incentive to work is not there. So these people is going to leave the job and they never will return. So in a few years from now, we will have several million people without work, but without necessity to work, because they will be subsidized by the government if this law survives. The problem with that is that today is around 1/3 of the working force is already without working. If you add these millions of people that they are not going to work, but they are going to receive money from the government, the disaster is right there in front of you. The economy is going to be probably not only stagnated, but it's going to be incredible to pay the American debt. The individuals are going to demand more and more entitlements. The Medicare people will demand entitlements. The Medicaid people will demand entitlements. The Obamacare people will demand entitlements. The working conditions are going to deteriorate. The individuals that they hire people today are going to hire less people, or they are going to hire people with a restricted amount of hours of work. Instead to have the 40 hours week work, they are going to be 30 hours or 20 hours, and they are not going to offer health care. So all these demands that they are going to go to the country because of a lack of wisdom of Obama and his crew, it's amazing to see that it's not more demand and reaction. It's amazing to see that this man still is in the government and still is telling everybody who's going to do whatever he wants. Now he's jumping in other subject to create more distance between his disaster with Obamacare and he's pushing immigration. So all these things are just only elements of destruction so this healthcare can stay. We don't need legislators. It's enough of laws that these people pass every single day. What we need somebody who will throw these laws in the garbage can and start with intelligent, common sense laws. To do that, we need to elect common sense people who really lives with a salary, who has families, who has obligations, who has jobs. These people are the ones that should be elected and should be placed in a position with limitation. Should be a term limits of these people, no more than 4 years, and if they behave really excellent and they have incredible ideas, they should remain for an election of another 4 years. After 8 years, every human who walks in this type of a life is going to be corrupted. We need to avoid that. That is a common sense. It's a common sense. It's not that I am against the politicians. It's not that I'm against the Democrats. The politicians are the problem. Nothing in this country is being damaged more than the political system damaged constantly everything. The discussion about the separations about races are created by a political arena. The separation about sex created by, again, political arena. The separation about rich and poor, political arena. One of the elements in the United States, everybody who came to the United States before, they say, I'm going to the United States and I will become rich. That was the incentive to come to the United States. That was the incentive of the Americans that were born here. If I study, if I perform, if I work hard, I am going to be rich. The entrepreneurial type of a behavior was all the time in their hands. Today, the people just hate everybody because they hate themselves. And it's because they don't have direction and they don't have guidance and they don't have a leader.
Thank you for watching American Medicine Today. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to contact us at the number below. Or you can tweet at Dr. Benady or hashtag American Medicine Today. We respect your views and opinions and would like to hear from you.
Thank you for watching American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. Please look in your local listings for our next regularly scheduled program. To hear more from Dr. Alfred Bonati and American Medicine Today, tune into News Radio 970 WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benady created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Benady invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Benady succeeds where others fail.
The preceding program is a paid presentation for American Medicine Today and the Bonati Spine Institute. The information and opinions expressed are solely those of American Medicine Today and are not the opinions of the station, its affiliates, management, or employees.